Temitope Oshuntuyi is a certified coach, trainer, and speaker. He is a personal growth enthusiast with over 10 years experience helping professionals and individuals develop their personal growth, leadership skills, and communication skills to enable them live a better and purpose-driven life. He's also a certified behavioral analysis consultant, helping people recognize their strengths, limitations, and how to connect with other personalities. Temitope has been an avid mentor for several non-profit organizations he has worked with, continuously adding value to them. He's the convener of the annual Mathematics Conference and Exhibition and founder of Mathematics for Life Foundation, an international NGO with the aim of applying mathematics to our daily lives in making the world a better place. He is an ardent member of Society of Petroleum Engineers with numerous awards, accolades, both local and international. He is also the founder of Age of Purpose, an organization birthed from the need to positively impact humanity. He believes that no one can achieve anything greater without growing themselves first. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Temitope Oshuntuyi.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate. We can have a seat. Yeah, I learned there are also people online. If you're online and you can hear me, can you type praise God in the chat? Just to know that you're still here with us. Okay. Thank you everyone for coming. And I really appreciate the church for inviting me, especially through Innocent. Innocent has been a friend and a brother for almost 2 decades now. So I really appreciate coming here. Thank you, Pastor Doyin, for having me also. My name is Temitope Oshuntuyi, as said earlier. And one of the things I really like sharing with people is growth, because I believe a lot in growing. And when I say growing, I don't really mean how you go from 1 year old to 70 years old, right? There is a lot of things about growth that we will uncover today. And hopefully, as we progress in future sessions, we are going to see that. We can talk a lot about growth for the next 40 days or the whole week and not repeat one thing. But today, in the next 40 minutes or thereabout, we are going to be looking at the intentionality aspect of growth. What do we mean to be intentional about our growing? To start with, I know we all have different definitions about growth. Well, I would like to ask those in the house and also those online. I only saw praise God from one person online. Probably you have only one person online. Okay. In your own terms, when we say growth, personal development, what does this mean to you? Do you have a mic in the house? If you are online, you can type. When we say personal development, personal growth, what do you think it is? How does it apply to you? Because it's good to know where we are coming from, rather than me just dumping things on you, right? Any takers? Of course, I know Johnson, so I'll call you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Oshuntuyi. To me, growth is when you increase. Growth will come in any dimension. Growth could be maybe in your business, so increasing in size. And okay, I would also say development, when you increase in size, in number, so just increment in all things you do. That's just.
Thanks. Thank you very much. Okay, any other person? I'm actively looking at the chat in case you have anything you can
I
drop
can
it.
say growth has to be a paradigm shift from your knowledge, what you know before, and a new knowledge.
Thank you very much. Okay. Now, to start with, let's say, for instance, I don't know this church before now. The first time I saw this church is already like this. But I can tell you that this church did not just start with this building. It will have started from somewhere smaller. And guess what? Whoever is the pastor then, whether it's Pastor Doing or whoever that started this church, I am sure their vision is still larger than this, and they are still going somewhere. But when they started, they had to start from somewhere, no matter how small. But they have a vision that someday we are going to grow to this big. Now, growth in its sense is totally different from activity. Don't let us confuse activity and growth. In between the period where you are growing, of course, you will need to be active to achieve your growth. But growth is continuous, intentional improvement. Sometimes we find ourselves, we just improve by accident. A lot of us has improved by accident due to COVID, haven't we? Because COVID just forced you to improve something. The technology that we are using today, if not for COVID, some of this technology we probably would not use it. If this was 3 years ago, we probably would not have anybody online to join. But COVID has made us force some of our lifestyle. So yes, people can grow accidentally, but the best form of growth is when you grow intentionally. Now, there are lots of ways you can know if you're actually growing. And a lot of people will give you different examples and definition online. But for me, over my years of teaching, over my years of experience, there is something I've come to realize that helps me know when I'm growing. Again, you can grow in any aspect of your life. The reason why we come to church is because we want to grow in our spiritual life. No matter how good of a pastor you are or individual, if you decide to be in your living room 365 days, 1 decade, and not mix with the church of God, you cannot grow as much as you want. Just as Pastor Doyin said that iron sharpeneth what? Iron. Now, for me, I believe everybody online and everybody in this room, at some point in our life, we probably have a degree of, at least we have a secondary school certificate. And it occurred to me someday, over 10 years ago, that this thing called growth, one of the reasons I know I'm growing is this, that during the course of the year, during the course of the month, during the course of the week, if I have a particular feeling, and I will describe that feeling for you shortly, that means I am growing. And everybody, we have experienced this feeling in our lives. And when we experience this feeling, you will all agree with me that we actually grow in that moment. And the feeling is this. And I would like anybody to describe this feeling. How do you feel when you finish your exams? Maybe SS3 WAEC or your final paper, or you finish the paper. Everybody has written exams. How do you feel? Anybody in the house? Like, describe it. Relieve this, like, understatement of that feeling, isn't it? You are excited. You feel like you have conquered the world. You see, that feeling is the achievement that, yes, I have grown from one stage to another. Now, one peculiar thing about that feeling is, sorry to say, even those that cheated in exam, they still have that feeling. Even those that will fail the exam, they still have that feeling. It's a feeling of, I have done this for myself. Nobody helped me. A feeling of, I have intentionally done this for myself, even if you will fail afterwards. Because not everybody that will still pass that course, but there is nobody that will not have that feeling. It's a feeling of what? Self-accomplishment. I tell you today, if you don't have that feeling continuously in your life, you are not growing. You can imagine when this church was built and opened. Whoever was the pastor that conceived this idea and cut that opening tape will feel that way. Whether the church is going to be successful the next day or not is not the question. The question is the feeling of what? Growth and accomplishment. So that is how you know you are growing. If you don't feel that continuously in your life, then you are not growing. You are just being active. You are just being what? Active. There is a difference between what? Activity and growth. So in my own terms, that's the easiest way I can explain growth to anybody. Because every one of us, especially in this time and age where we've all gone to school to an extent, we know that feeling. And till tomorrow, I'm still looking for one word I can use to describe that feeling. I have not seen it. Because that feeling is awesome. Like, you want to sleep, you want to play, you want to do everything at that moment. You are just, nothing beats that feeling. So you need to intentionally do things, plan things that will make you have that feeling. And you can never have that feeling when it's someone else that is doing your work for you. You have to be present. Having said that, why is it that we don't have this feeling? Why is it that we find it very difficult to grow? And I'm going to share with you some of the reasons why we find it difficult to grow. Can we have the screen up? Am I still sharing? Okay, I think I need to share, right? Okay, so as I've said, growth is not what? It's not natural. You have to be what? Intentional about it. The only times growth can feel natural is if you accidentally stumbled upon it. Just like the way we accidentally stumbled on technology growth because of COVID. A lot of us will probably not even know what Zoom is today, if not for COVID. Now, what is your plan to grow? There are certain things that debar us from growing, and we call these growth gaps. 8 of them, and I will touch on them quickly. Okay, number 1 is the assumption gap. And we automatically grow. We all assume that we will automatically grow, that one day we will get there. But life is not school. It's only when you go to school that you know what next to do. That whether you like it or not, from GS1, just read your exams, you go to GS2. All I just need to read and pass. And human beings, when we were in secondary school, our institution, we think life is difficult. We complain. But now we know that then it was just play. This is the real difficulty. You know why? There is no other formula. There's no other formula to say, okay, just read this, then you go to the next stage. So we assume in our head. A lot of us have never read a book. We have never been in that state I just described after school. Why? Because we assume that every day we grow older, that as our age increases, we are going to grow. No. Some of us have 10 years experience, but it's not actually 10 years experience. It's 1 year experience, repeated 10 years. So you should know the difference. The fact that we are older, the fact that it's a new year, does not mean that we automatically grow. You need to make sure that you do things intentionally for us to grow. Another gap is the knowledge gap. I don't know how to grow. And we are going to also give tips to that today. But one thing I want you to know is this. In this growth journey, you don't need to know how to grow. What you need to know, right, is to have a clear sense of arrival. What do you want to achieve? For me, several years ago, I decided I want to be a speaker. I want to be able to stand up in front of tens of thousands of people sometime in future and be able to motivate and inspire them. Have a clear sense of goal that this is what you want to do. Then start from somewhere. If you are clear with what you want, there is a way the world responds to your clarity. You don't need to choose 10 things at the same time, but just choose something that, okay, this is what I want. No matter how perfect your plan is, your plan will always change before you get to that goal. Number 3 here is the timing gap. It is not the right time to grow. I remember a riddle about 5 frogs sitting on a log of wood. And the question goes thus that 4 of the frog decided to jump. How many frogs are left on the log? Anybody? What's that, sir? 1, 4. So you can imagine 5 frogs on a log, and 4 of them decided to what? jump. How many of them is remaining on the log? It's still 5. So meaning there is a difference between decision and action. And a lot of times in our lives, we decide in our head. And the next time you see your colleague or your spouse or your family, you will want them to assume that you have good intention towards doing that thing. There's a difference between having good intention to do something and actually doing it. We judge people by the action, but we judge ourselves by our intention. Nobody will see your intention. All we will see from you is your good deeds, not your good intention. We cannot read your mind, and nobody can. So stop deciding and actually do things that people can see. Do you know when we've decided that we want to do this today? Probably it's up to a year that I ought to have visited this place. How many of you know that it has been up to a year? For those of you sitting there, you don't know it's been up to a year. So there's a difference between deciding and actually doing. People, they don't know your efforts. To you, it counts. To other people, it doesn't count. And there will never, ever be the right time. The longer you take to do something, the higher the probability that you will never, ever do it. Do you remember those times where you have very bright ideas? And you'll be like, wow, this idea is going to fetch millions of naira, if not millions of dollars. One day passes, 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months. Then you remember the idea again. Be like, you don't feel excited anymore about it. Why? That is gone. Not until the next time you now see someone do it, you now feel stupid. The mistake gap. A lot of us, we are not growing because we don't want to make mistake. What you should ask yourself is, what will you really attempt to do if you know you won't fail? In this life, what will you really attempt to do if you know you won't fail? It's easier said than done. I know. For someone like me, since I was in GS3, which is over 20 years ago, I decided to start a mathematics NGO, just for people to know that this math of a thing can be applied daily in our lives. Guess what? I didn't start until maybe 7 or 10 years after I've left our institution. But today, the NGO is global. A lot of people know about it. If I mention some of our events or show you some of the pictures, you will have seen it on social media. Why? The fear that what if when I start, I don't get this right? Oh, there is cowbell competition. What if I start and it's not as good as cowbell? But it doesn't matter. The marketplace, the entire world is big enough for anybody, no matter the idea that might have been in existence before yours. You just need to start yours. Another one is perfection gap. You want it to be perfect. I have to find the best way before I start. Have you ever thought of moving on a journey? For instance, let's say we want to go from here to Ikeja. Before the days of Google Map, someone will tell you, when you get to this junction, turn left, turn right, turn. Once you go off this road and you want to start heading to Ikeja, can you see Ikeja? No. Your eyes will only see as far as the end of the road. But by the time you get to that end of the road, what happens? You see something else. What happens? You see another thing else. You can never be perfect. The more you go, the clearer your journey becomes. So if you wait for everything to be perfect before you start, before you have all the resources, you will never, ever have all the resources when you start. No matter how rich, no matter how connected you are. So you can't be perfect. Again, making an analogy of this church. If our pastor sees the first version of this church now in picture, I'm sure he's going to laugh. How that we used to be like this some years ago. Right? The founder of LinkedIn once says, if you are not ashamed of the first version of your product, then you have not started. Years later, when you see the first version of your product, you should be like, man, and we thought we were doing great then. But now when you look at it, you're like, man, we are just playing then. The same way, 10, 15 years from now, when you see the version of this church, you will look at it and say, man, we are just playing then. That is what growth does for you. you continue to build, you continue to work till thy kingdom come. I do tell people, till he returns or calls me home. There is no end. That's what makes growth different from what? Goal. So the goal is not to what? To build this church. The goal is a growth plan that we will continue to do as much as we can till we leave. Then the inspiration gap. A lot of us wait to be inspired or motivated like today before we do something. In the real sense of it, thank God we have a place of worship like this. Nobody has nobody has time for you. Nobody have you at the back of their mind. If not for you have a place like this. How dare everybody is for themselves. So if you are really waiting for people to motivate you, you might not really ever get there. And motivation is a feeling. For you to feel in a particular way, you have to do something, and the feeling comes as a reward. Do you get it? You do something, then it gives you the feeling of motivation, then motivation turns into momentum. Look at what we have done today. We want to be motivated in this tech hub. But we have done one first step to make sure that today we started. What happens? We become motivated. Then we are looking forward to the next edition. Maybe it's going to be weekly, monthly, once a quarter, I don't know. But you'll be looking forward to to the next edition. Then that serves as well momentum to keep building on that motivation. But if you think you will be motivated before you start, nobody's coming to your head. You need to try as much as possible to start. Another one is the comparison gap, which happens a lot of times, especially on this social media age. You see, God has given us different talent. And it's very bad that what we see as success today in our world, and it's not Nigeria. I tell people a lot of times say, oh, it's Nigeria. No, it is the whole wide world. Some things can just be pronounced more in our country because we don't have consequences or punishment for what we do. But human beings are the same everywhere they go. Remove law and order, and everybody becomes an animal. So it's normal. Okay? People think success is that money that you show. Fine. If you are successful, at least you should not be poor. That one I believe. But a lot of times we put our eyes on that money. No matter how wealthy you are, you cannot be wealthy. You cannot be the wealthiest person from the time you are born to the time you die. No. Today it might be Elon Musk. Tomorrow morning, like this tomorrow morning, another rating might come. It's someone else. So what is your goal? What is your mission? Is it to have more money than Elon Musk? Or rather, use that your small talent and continue to have that feeling I described in the beginning. And you see, as you have that feeling gradually every time, you will see after 365 days, oh, I have moved from point A to point B. But if you spent the whole of last year, 2022, I did not really have that feeling, you will agree with me now that you cannot really see a noticeable growth, apart from physical growth. Maybe you grew more beards. You won't see anything noticeable. So you need to make sure that you build and start comparing yourself with the other. How was your previous version of you? I have this particular growth training that we are supposed to discuss this week, but I told Innocent that is a little bit still advanced because I don't know my audience. That is good to always start small because growing can be overwhelming, I must tell you. It can be overwhelming because you look at it like, where will I be like this person? Or when will I get here? The thing is, if you ask that person what he or she has faced, you won't want to start at all. You just want to be in your lane. Let's continue to be like this. It's not easy. We know other churches that is 10 times bigger than this, if not thousands. Are we going to compare ourselves to that? No. Run your own race, okay? So that's how comparison gap is. Don't compete with anybody. With time, there is this training I call Becoming the Best Version of You. It's just a series of 13 lessons on how you can actually apply different things to your life, from attitude to persistence to intentionality to a lot of other things for you to just make sure that you keep improving year on year. The last but not the least here is the expectation gap. A lot of people see this as, they see growth as something that has a deadline. I will do this for 2 years. I will do this for 3 years. There is nothing like that. It's just like the church we are into. You are not going to do this and say, I want to serve God for 1 year or 5 years and that's all. No, it's still eternity. Eternity is when it comes or when we go, whichever that comes first. So be ready when you start growing. You yourself, you don't know how big you can ever become. But like I said earlier, when you get to a particular junction and you think you have arrived, something else will show. That is what is actually called growing. And no matter what you expect in terms of time, guess what? It's going to take longer. No matter what you expect in terms of money, you are going to spend more. No matter what you expect in terms of strength and ability, you are going to need more. So don't let that disturb you. Success is not for the faint of heart. Because the reason why a lot of people are not successful is because on this first sign of obstacle, they just go back to their old self. And trust me, it will always happen. Because you are trying to push through lots of obstacles. Imagine, some months ago, I heard that the world population crosses 8 billion. Imagine you as one person trying to go through 8 billion people. That's what you're trying to do. Everybody prays. Everybody is wicked. Everybody is good. So you are trying to penetrate 8 billion people and you expect them to be doing like this. They all serve the same God you serve, don't they? One way or the other. At least God created everybody. So the world is going to push back. But know at the same time that the world is also going to open for you. You see, there are lots of universal principles in this world, and you can even find them in the Bible. You see, the reason why we know that we are in this room, if we actually think about it, is because we know that there is an outside to this room. Do you know the reason why NASA scientists decided to go to space? Because before now, nobody was. It's one of those principles that if we are in this world, that we know that this is inside one world, then definitely there is something else out there. Even if I can't see it, there is what? Something else out there. So for every positive, there is a negative. So even if the world push back to you, there is something, there is somewhere that is going to what? Open up for you. But because the negative emotion it overwhelms people more, and people tend to cringe more when they see negative emotion. They forget that there is also an equal and opposite force to that. Now, which of these traps do you think you have? I'm sure as we go on, in fact, some of you might think you have all the 8 traps, but think about it. If Rome wasn't built in a day, how long are you willing to give yourself to do this? You cannot change your destination tonight. But from this very moment, if you change your direction, you are going to build a totally new destination for yourself. So at this moment, decide on transitioning from accidental growth to intentional growth. But before you do that, ask yourself, number 1, where do you want to go in life? And I want you to write it down in your note, in your books, online, on your phone. Where exactly do you want to go? And I'm going to ask at least 1 or 2 people to share this answer with us. Everybody has an idea. In my lessons on becoming the best version of you, that is one of the things I teach. You see, the way idea works is this. Idea is entirely divine. Idea is different from you, is different from plan. Idea comes when you are least expecting and you see that something just drops in your consciousness. You are not thinking about it. Idea is different from thought. You might be taking your bath and it should just drop in your consciousness. Why? You see, we are in the church, so we believe that there is God, which is a source of what? Power greater than us. There is no way idea will move into your mind if it's not coming from what? a bigger source. So God has dropped that idea into your own what? Consciousness. Again, what now happens? When idea drops into our consciousness as human being, the first thing that comes to our mind is, what if it doesn't work? Okay, I will try it. At the end of the day, some people might not try it. But I tell you that some ideas, God will keep bringing into your consciousness continuously. And if you fail to carry it out, you will be walking someday and you will see someone that has done that same thing. Or you will see it online. Why? Because his mission must be fulfilled. So if you won't do it, another vessel will surely do it. If I don't come here today, if not tomorrow, if not next year, someone else will come. So at the end of the day, we are just vessels. 8 billion of them or more at any point in time. And don't count the number of vessels that has been since inception up to now. Infinity. So when you have ideas, different ideas are struck you before now, is striking you before now. I just want to let you know that it's from a source higher than you. Why do you think some people will go to ocean and worship ocean? The reason is human beings will like looking at something bigger than us. So when they are in front of that mighty ocean, they believe that, oh, this ocean is bigger than this my thought, so I can worship it. Nobody worships something that is smaller than them. Nobody. Nobody follows a leader that is smaller than them. So idea is totally divine, and is coming from a larger source, which we as Christians believe is what? God and no other person, and no other being. So what is the idea you are having now? And I will ask you, where do you want to go in life? What direction do you want to go? What is the farthest you can imagine going? And how long do you think it will take you there? So if you can share with us your answer to these four questions, I'll pretty much like it. Anybody that wants to share? I'm sure everybody has answer to these questions. We've always dreamed about something. Some of you want to be the next Elon Musk. Is that what your dream is? Where do you want to start from? Anybody in the house or online? I'm following those online. If you have any question, please drop. So anybody?
Okay,
thanks.
Well, my name is Johnson, once again. For me, where I want to find myself in life, there's something about me. I love to impact. It's something I'd always love to do. So I wouldn't say it's a shortcoming for me. I left all my engineering degree. I went into teaching because I love to impact. Along the long run, I just felt like in this economy, teaching would not help you to build your career well. So I actually delved into a little bit of tech, and I'm actually looking at, I didn't know of this tech kind of thing until graduation from school, and I discovered that after graduation, those that knew about it right from under level had gone far. So something was just coming inside of me. I went online, I surfed the internet. We're looking at artificial intelligence. It's something the world is talking about today. Our kids, we engage them on mobile devices. No one is saying anything about the kids coming up. With tech, I went online, I was searching AI kids. I'm not seeing anything. I'm only seeing Aikido. So it's something I'm actually looking at, impacting on the upcoming ones. I'm looking at the future on artificial intelligence. So myself and my younger brother are actually working on that. He works with a company that actually we do a little of coding and robotics with school, but the content is not solid. So there's some things I think these kids, because the kids of nowadays are quite different from those kids of those days. So it's something I'm actually looking at. So where I want to be is being one of the tech leader in terms of the space of artificial intelligence for kids, for the young minds. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Johnson. You see, when I teach or train, I always like to hear from people because I have a lot of things upstairs, but time might not permit, and I might not be giving you the right content sometimes, so I set up the stage. But when you ask questions, when we interact, it gives me the opportunity to be able to what? To come to your level, rub minds, So one of the things I will tell you, which I've said earlier, is, you see, start from somewhere. The problem is when you don't start. And thank God I knew Johnson from way back, and he knows me too. One of the things this country doesn't do well, but they do well in other associations, in other lights that we don't know, is the idea of non-profit organizations. But a lot of us does not even know that church is a non-profit organization and other faith bodies. You see, if you have any idea, a place like this church is a non-profit organization that will help you to bet any of your dreams. So if you think you want to establish yourself, right, as a guru in the AI space for kids, I'm sure the guys here in Tech Hub, they will be welcome to it. Then you can learn, you can make mistakes, you can start your package from scratch. Nobody will say, oh, we cannot pay you because you're not collecting money. Nobody will say it's not good enough or it's too bad. You can make your mistakes, fine-tune it, and move on. I'm sure one of the places he met me will be speaking. It's an NGO, Society of Petroleum Engineers. That's one of the places I honed my skills of speaking. The way I spoke 10 years ago is not the same way I speak today, and I'm sure it's not the same way I will speak 10 years from now. So places like this church will help you to bet your ideas, no matter what your ideas are, no matter what you want to be in future. You want to speak, there is the platform here. You want to be the best pastor in another 10 years, there is the platform here. You want to be a renowned doctor, there is the platform here. What idea do you have that you cannot start with an NGO, not to talk of a church? So these are places that your mistakes will be forgotten. It will be written in water and not cast in stone. Okay? So try as much as possible. Utilize what you have here. Expand and nurture it. That way, it's easier for you. When you go out there, you already have some hurdles that you've already crossed. Okay? Now, thanks a lot for that, Johnson. And I believe each and every one of us has that idea. If possible, share it with a trusted colleague or partner that can take you on it as we go. One of the encouragements I give people is this: do it now. I don't know what other thing to say, except what? Do it now. Seriously, what are you waiting for? Sometimes I talk to people and they say motivation doesn't work. That we come today, motivational speaker, we are excited, we say we can conquer the world, and tomorrow, it doesn't work. See, if you brush your teeth once in a year, you will come to me and say brushing your teeth does not work. Is that not it? But when you brush your teeth every day, then you say brushing your teeth works. Same thing with taking your bath. So if you listen to things like this every day, then you see the difference. Because you cannot keep being reminded constantly of things like this and not one day wake up and say, okay, you know what, I've had enough, I'm just going to do it. So one of the ways you can get motivated is every time when you wake up after a morning prayer, just keep telling yourself, do it now, do it now, do it now. There are several ways you can motivate yourself, but this is a simple one. Just tell yourself. There is nobody in this world that doesn't procrastinate. I'm one of them. So just tell yourself, do it now and do it now. You can repeat it 10 to 50 times every day before you sleep or before you wake up or when you wake up in the morning. It helps a lot. So now ask yourself, there are different fears that we have that makes it difficult for us to actually grow. But you must make sure that your desire to change and grow must be greater than this fear. Some is fear of failure. What if we grow and we do this, we leave our comfort zone, and we fail at the end of the day? For a lot of people I know, it's the fear of trading security for the unknown. Where I am now, I have my daily bread. I have a good job, even if it doesn't cater for all my bills. But what if I leave and I can't even fend for myself on a daily basis? Fear of being overextended on resources. I don't have the time. Fear of what others will think. Fear of pushing others away. Every one of us have this fear, but you must make sure that your why for growing, you have as much why as possible. It will help you. And last but not the least, we must move from accidental growth to intentional growth. Based on this criteria and what you have listened to today, I can tell you that you can do a quick review of how you are on a scale of 1 to 100, scoring yourself each of these points. Okay? When you have ideas, do you plan to start tomorrow, or do you insist on starting immediately? You do something to start immediately you have the idea. What will you score yourself? Will you score yourself 0 or 10 or 1 or 5? Wait for growth to come. Do you wait until a good opportunity comes your way, or you take responsibility and do something about it? Do you learn only from mistakes, or you learn before your mistakes? See, you don't have enough time in the world to learn from your mistakes. That's why you read. That's why you attend events like this. Do you depend on good luck, or you rely on hard work? Do you quit early and often, or you persevere as long as possible? Do you fall into bad habits, or you fight for good habits? Do you talk big and never follow through? Do you always play it safe, or you try and take risk? Do you think like a victim? A lot of us do that. Or you think like a learner so that you can learn more? Do you rely on talent, or rather on character? No matter how good you are, look at successful people around the world that have very good talent, are well talented, but their character is bad. You will not make it far. Once you come out into the limelight, within a year or two, your character will overshadow your talent, no matter how good you are, no matter how talented you are. So, as a human being, no matter how talented you are, you must make sure you work on your character. It's one of the things I tell people. Your character, your values, no matter how you are, every day you work on it. Okay? Then, finally, have you stopped learning after graduation? Or you never stop learning? I know there's a lot we can say, but because of time, and time will never be enough, no matter what we do. But the little we have been able to use today, I believe that we've been able to learn 1 or 2 things. I will still have the next 5 minutes or thereabout to ask questions while I stop here for now. Thank you, everybody, and I will take your questions.
Good afternoon. So if you're watching online, if you have a question, you can either raise up your hand so that we can unmute you, or you type it in the comment section. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, my name is Michael. Yeah, there's this question I want to ask, according to one of your presentation, what do you want to achieve? I always think of having a big multimedia firm, and to get some of those equipment have always been a big issue, but sometimes I look at this year, it's like, okay, Michael, let's start from organizing a training, get some fund from training, then start buying some of these things gradually. The question is, how do I convert some of this training? I've not done it before. I've always had one-on-one with guys, and how do I move from just putting in it, having the training, moving from just one-on-one with my team and putting together what I can send out that will attract people? There's way between having training with my friends, like, okay, do this way. How do I make it robust in a way that can attract,
Okay. Thanks for that question. And again, I will share from my own life experience, okay? At least you know by what you've seen today that I'm a trainer and a coach. By the way, a lot of you might not know, but I'm an engineer by profession. My 9 to 5, I still do a 9 to 5, and I'm an engineer. Johnson will know that, right? I've not resigned, I'm still working. Right. So how did I start this that I do now? And now, of course, people pay me to do this. I'm sure if I ask you to pay today, you will know how much you will pay now, even if it's just this 1 hour, right? Because it's either, I believe you have gained one thing or the other. Now, when I first started, I started free with my family, my siblings. Training them, motivating them. We are seeing changes small, small. From there, I moved to Society of Petroleum Engineer students. Since when? I've been going to student conferences 2004, and I've been talking up till now for free. After a while, you see all this free that you are doing is still trying to own your skills. You can't give what you don't have. You will make the money eventually, but you don't want to go out there and feel not just unprepared. Let people know that, okay, even if you are not the best in town, at least you are what being paid. Do you get? I might not be John Maxwell yourself today, but you won't be like, we are just here because it's wasting our time. If I probably came here 10, 15 years ago, you probably would be like, Innocent, why now? Why are you wasting our time? So all those free period, you are trying to hone your skills. People give you feedback. You must be open to the feedback. Everybody likes something free. They will answer you. So whoever you want to train, like I said, start from this church. After a while, you will see that you yourself, you are getting a hang of it. You are getting better. Then go all out one day and say, social media. See, one thing about social media now is, no matter who you are, as long as you have something to say and you have internet, you have a customer. Is that customer going to pay you 1 naira or 1 million? That's a different question. But as long as you have something to say and you have internet, you have customer. Now, as you are doing it, you are posting it, people are seeing it. Then one day, when you are ready, this is how much I want to charge for this session. It's possible nobody showed up. Don't be discouraged. It's very possible. Now, if nobody shows up, start asking those that registered, why didn't you show up? You'll be surprised that some people will be like, there is no reason, I even forgot. Some people will be like, oh, I thought I knew everything before. Some people like, oh, what do you know that you want to show me? Then you visit again. Next time when you have to make sure that you offer such thing, now start going to organization. Now meet someone like Innocent. I do ABC for a living. Do you know anybody, just one person, that you can introduce for me? Let me do something simple. By the time you ask people in your close circle, you will see one person that will give you that first offer. As I am here today now, I came here for free. If I do this for the next 5, 10 times, and I come to ask you, bros, do you know anybody that can be interested in what I do? You'll be like, I know one person. Just give me, don't ask for 5 contacts. Because the mistake we make is that we have do you know contacts of people? No. You see, when that person thinks and give you 1 contact, the person is giving you their best. The person is giving you what? Their best. And also be mindful of who introduces you. Because at first, when people see you, they don't see you, they see the person that introduced you. Before you make your own mark on them. So if that person is not a good person in their organization, you are in trouble. They won't listen to you. So there is a process to everything. In a nutshell, start free, own your skill. That free, you are not being paid. So you can make mistakes. Own your skills, get better. One day, do a publication. I can do this for free online. I can do this for 5 naira online. See who will join. If nobody comes in, start telling people that you know, I do this, who do you know? When you do that, people that you have touched their lives with that, one person will give you one breakthrough. And you repeat. The media world in your feet, it doesn't happen that way, but start from somewhere. So, having said that, which stage of this thing I described do you think you are on? Give him the mic back, because I like to be practical. I don't like us just waving arms when we do these things, right? This thing I've described now, which of the stages do you think you are on?
Yeah, I've actually gotten some knowledge, and I'm the multimedia guy in charge of this church.
Okay.
So other event like experience and other, but transition from, the difference between doing and training is to, I've done a lot of certification and training on multimedia, actually for sound.
Okay.
Is to, sometimes you might be very, very good in doing something. And when you are training people, I've actually done series of training for our guys here.
You okay?
I have some of our guys around that have done training. But when you want to go out there, it's actually different thing. That's the point I'm making too. I attend some training and I compare with mine. I'm like, no, Michael, this thing is not near. So it's just to be able to get something that will.
So in short, you are still having the fear of starting at all. You have not even failed at it. You've not advertised.
No, I've not.
Fail at it first. Know why you failed. The earlier, there is a concept we call failing forward. Fail fast, fail forward. Because you will fail. So the earlier you fail, the better. Put the advert out. When people doesn't show up, ask, why didn't you register? Know your feedback. The people you are training now, ask them, why won't you pay for this? Do you get? So your next stage now is you need to jump and try that advert. These same people that you have trained, why would they pay? Is it that they feel that it's not a skill that they will pay for? Is it sometimes you might be talking to the wrong audience, but you will not know until you start. So don't be afraid. I know it's easier said than done. Your next level now should be do the advert, okay? Thank you. Next. Okay. How long do we have for questions? 5 more minutes, okay.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Thank you.
My name is Victor. So, sir, there's a concern I would like you to please clarify.
Yes, sir.
So this is it. I'm not really a fan of social media.
Yes.
But right now, everyone says this is the way forward.
Okay.
And I believe in hard work. So there's this book I read, Deep Work, by Carl Newport. So the book just emphasizes on how you can grow your business without social media.
Okay.
The reason why I'm not on social media is because there are some skill I feel that if you're on social media, you won't be able to earn. Like the ability to network, the ability to communicate.
Okay.
You understand? The ability to get yourself, be flexible. You understand? Especially with human beings. When you're in business, there's something called psychology. I tell people that you cannot just go into business and say you're selling a product. You actually have to understand human beings. You understand? So I want you to clarify, is it possible to be successful without social media as a business person?
It's very, 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 very possible.
Because that is the reason. Because nowadays, the young ones will tell you, they will even make you understand that what you're doing is wrong.
Who has a social media account that as a business person you sell? Who? Anybody here? You sell on social media and all that. Let me ask you, what percentage of your profit comes from social media to people you know one-on-one? 45% for social media. And more than half is still from people you know one-on-one. You see, there is this buzz of social media. It's especially for those of us that grew to meet, that social media met us, not those that they were born into social media. So for those that are born into social media, they don't know that there was a life before now. Now, I personally, as an example, I'm not successful yet. It's a race. We'll continue to do as much as we can. The only social media I have is LinkedIn. And probably if WhatsApp qualify for one. Personally, my Facebook is dormant since the time I opened it 18 years ago. Which of them again? Is that I don't have account. Twitter. Which of them again? Keep mentioning. In fact, the first time I saw TikTok was one of my trainees 3 months ago when I told someone, open it, let me even see how it works. I'm an ardent follower of John Maxwell, and he said till tomorrow he has not sent one email before. One email. Why? Because email met him. Now, even if you need to use one, these people, they will manage your social media account for you. They like doing it. You don't need to do it. I have a lot of other companies and NGO that I own. I have people that does it because that's what they like to do. Me, I like this one I'm doing. Do you get my point? That's Jibola is one of my team. He's taking pictures and all that. He knows what to do with it, but me. And most of the things that you do, you grow organically. If if I have the time now and I decide to really build my career in speaking, and I ask everybody here after 3 months, please refer me to one person. How many sales do you think I can get in this room? How many? So you need to grow organically. Are you going to be on social media? Yes. Some people will come from there. But you see, people don't post their pains on social media. They make it seem as if it's better than that. It is not. If you actually go through the actual sales of even the biggest and brightest organizations, right? People do business with people that they know, like, and trust. And people that know, like, and trust you are usually people that are from referral that you grew with. Are you going to get people from online? Of course. Are you going to buy Coke now because Coke is online? No. You know, like, and trust Coke. Even you yourself, how many times have you purchased goods from random person online? If not that someone told you that I've used them before, or I bought from, how many times? So the same way that you have that bias is the same way they are not selling as much as you thought they are selling. And if you have to use online, this generation that you are talking about, they will help you do it. If you have to pay them, let them handle your social media account. As long as you give them, you'll probably look at the content before they post it. You'll be fine. You don't need to have it on yourself. Okay? Thank you. Yeah.
Sorry, sir. I still want to refer back to the question he was asking about the training. In 2020, during the lockdown, I organized a training based on WhatsApp. So many people attend the training just because everybody was at home. Then to my surprise was some other people from other countries to attend the training. Now, it was successful actually. After 3 days, it was successful. So 2021, somebody just told me that you can't just be wasting these skills. I'm into fashion, jewelries and all that. So I prefer training people. I sell too. So someone told me, like, you know what, why don't you just monetize this and go ahead? And so I just went ahead, I did adverts. Then after the adverts, the end result was so poor. In fact, 2021, I recorded about 60-something people that attend that training. But after 2021, like that 2021, it was so bad, like it was just 3 people that was willing to pay for that training. Yeah. So what could have been the cause? Because even some of my friends that attended the training, they were like, oh, thank you. At least I know somebody, at least one of my friends, about 3 of them, they were using it now, they are making money from it. But whenever I said, let's do this thing, like pay for it and we enjoy it. No. The other people that enjoy from is just, maybe somebody just refer, like, okay, she's good, do this. Then I can now charge, like, okay, it's 30K that I pay. I said, wow, this is nice. They paid just for 2 weeks. I'm happy. But anytime you just put it there on social media that you want to train people, they prefer free. Why?
Yeah. Okay. First, to answer your question, how many of us will pay 5,000 naira for another 1 hour of my teaching? Raise up your hand. Raise up your hand, be sincere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. How many of us will come for another 1 hour of my teaching for free? Excuse me. Please, they are blocking my view with that. As in, I'm trying to be more practical about it. You see, free. I told Innocent something today, and this has been my experience. If you go and look at the number of people that register for this class, and the number of people that eventually attend, it will be like 40% that eventually attend. Why? Because it's free. But if you put money on it, and 3 people paid, I am telling you that most likely those 3 people will show up. Now, when it comes to the word of free, there is what we call freemium. Freemium. The same way we have some apps. Your Gmail, for instance, is free. You don't pay for it, but it's what? Freemium. They've given you free, but that free is so precious that you cannot afford to lose it. Is that not it? WhatsApp is free, but they've given you so free that you can't afford to lose it. But it's still free. If WhatsApp really decides to start collecting 5 naira tomorrow or 500 naira, so our next time you will pay. Now, when you give free, Don't give free to people with the idea that is what? Free. Make it what? Freemium. The first thing is because this is a church. We know that we are going to do it free. And it must be what? Free. If not, if this is an organization, as I am coming here for free, I give you my bill. And I tell you at the bottom of the bill that, okay, it's coming as a gratis, but this is my bill. That way you have prepared people's mind that this is the worth. But someone that you are taking for free and they have no idea how much this thing worth, they will flood the place. You see, when you put it as freemium up front, most likely majority of the people that will show will be people that can pay that money in future if you decide to start collecting money. Do you get? So if I send you bill now, assuming this organization, I said, I'm going to collect 400,000 naira for talking to for 1 hour. By the time Innocent sees it, to share with Pastor Doyin, they will have decided that, okay, we will collect this free, but if we have to go ahead, can we afford it? I've seen places where people will tell me not to come at all. But the moment they tell me to come, they are ready that, what is this amount? Maybe we'll pay 50% or we negotiate 60%. So if you know that that is 10,000 naira to you, the next time you want to start free, put 25K. This information you are getting is worth 25K, but because of XYZ, I want to do it for what? Free. People that are coming have at the back of their mind that is 25K what? The next time you want to advertise, this is 40K, but because you have joined my session before, I am going to do it for 15K. People can now start negotiating to your 10K. That way you will get more people. Will everybody show up? No. But these are things that you can learn. If you are in that space, how many times have you gone online to even ask, how do you move from free to paid? You get tips online. Almost anything that you want now, just go online, YouTube and all that. They'll give you insights. So there are skills that you can learn everywhere. If nothing, when you know that you have a body showed up after paid, you get some things. The value of what you are giving them for free. And when it's time to come, most likely, most of the people that will show up are people that can afford that bill. Because if I tell you that this class will cost 50,000 going forward, you probably will not show up if you know that I cannot be paying 50K. But if you know that, okay, 50K, so that the day you say 50K, they will not say, we cannot pay. You know, even if I'm giving you for free. Okay, I hope that helps, right? Again, there's lots of things you can do in terms of sales, which I believe that with time, you keep getting better at it as we continue with this. I think we might not be able to take any questions further. Hopefully, in future, we'll be able to do more. Thank you, everybody, for having me. I really appreciate it.